Welcome to Share Talk, the only podcast where investors come first.
We have Andrew Bell, Chairman and CEO of Red Rock Resources, which is a natural resource development company listed on AIM. Hi Andrew, how are you?
Good afternoon, how are you?
Not too bad, thanks. So you've just made an announcement today about a drilling contact being made at the Mikei Gold Project. Do you think you can give us a bit more insight into that?
Yes, we of course had some exploration there in 2010, 2011 particularly, produced a JORC resource in 2012. In 2013, we were continuing to work. 2013-14, though, we ran into problems with, shall we say, a local politician, and with eventually the minister tried to take the license back of our local partner in order to, as he thought, interest some big companies into going in there. And we went to court and got an injunction initially, and then were proceeding with an actual judicial review. The minister got replaced, and in due course, the ministers coming in realized it was much better and less problematic to continue to work with us rather than create the really bad impression, let people come in, spend more than $10 million, and then you take something away from them. And then it was just a matter of the modalities of getting it back, and with a new Mining Act coming in and therefore the necessity to have new licenses to replace the old ones. It just became, and the Act not perfectly drafted in terms of the through train provisions, it became a little bit of a hassle, but we got it all done late last year. And I'd say a tribute to the fact that ultimately things like the legal system, rule of law, and so on in Kenya do work, which should be an encouragement for other companies thinking of investing there. But yes, so then we had to bring our camp back into operation. We, of course, had to then staff up properly. And we've got a really good project manager there with a lot of experience who we've worked with before when he was a consultant. He's Kenyan, and he's very, very good. And we've employed a couple of the geologists who were quite young and who trained initially with us when we were working there before. And they've come and rejoined us. And then we've got the JORC resource redone for JORC 2012 by CSA. And that was earlier this year in February we announced that. Because under the JORC 2012, you have to assess whether the thing can probably be economically recoverable. It means you have to create a pit shell and conceptual costs for everything. And this resulted in particular in one area in the middle in a reduction in the resource, because what we've done in the years from 2010 to say 2012 is we've done a lot of drilling. A lot of it had been pulling together and re-drilling areas which had already been drilled and where there was a substandard resource that had been announced, but we had fallen out of compliance. And so we were thinking, this is the basement. This is setting the scene for the work we do to increase the resource and increase the grade. And then, of course, there was this hiatus. So we're going back to that central area of the central part of the resource where we know there's a lot of infill drilling we can do. And we know we can also go deeper because the system goes deeper there. And very exciting, we're going to start with 2,000 meters of RC drilling, but depending how it goes and working with the drilling company, everything goes well and the rigs works well, then we're likely to extend that project and do more drilling. And I think the more we do, the more we're going to be able to build up that resource and build up grade.
Great. So it's all guns blazing there then. You've had a busy week because you did another announcement the day before, which is to do with the drill program in the DRC. Now, do you think you can tell us some more information there? And I'm guessing no politics involved.
Yeah, so whereas in Kenya, we're drilling an area that we actually know pretty well, and we have an established resource there of between 1.1 million ounces or 700,000 plus ounces, depending on where you do the cutoffs and how you look at it and the costing. So we know more or less what we think the results are going to be from the drilling. In Congo, we have taken a project from virgin to the stage of drilling, and it's a copper-cobalt project near Lubumbashi in Katanga, and the geochemistry results and the geophysics we've done, our knowledge of the structure from the maps, the geological maps, and from observation on the ground, lead us to think that this is the right environment for a copper-cobalt resource, and that we have every hope of finding something pretty good based on the tenor of the geochemical results. And so we are drilling 2,000 meters there with a local company. We've got a slightly less powerful rig than we have in Kenya. We've already started drilling there, so that started last Sunday. There's a little bit of tooling issues. The tool assembly at the bottom of the bit assembly at the bottom, some elements needing to be replaced to make it suitable for the ground conditions. But we're drilling there, so that's underway. And so we've got that this week, and we've got Kenya drilling starting, we believe and hope, next week.
Okay, so you mentioned a few hiccups with the Congo drill. What's the expected timescale for results?
Yeah, well, once we've got a certain number of results in Congo in particular, I think that we will try to get some sample prep done and send to the laboratory and get some results back before the drillers move off site, because we want to know whether we should be extending that program. In other words, whether we have got something which justifies and supports an increased program. Or we may just say, look, this is very easy. We've got something, it's dead simple. We drill this out. We get all the sample results back from the labs. We maybe think about defining an inferred resource, or doing just a little bit more work to get an inferred resource. But we take a step back to decide how to do that. But I think whatever happens, we're starting at a point where we're going to get some kind of results. And again, we have reasonable confidence that we know the kind of range in which those results are going to fall. So this is two enormously exciting programs where, because the phase one is relatively small number of meters, we're going to be finished within a month and a half in both of them, the first stage, and then just get the results as quickly as we can. So all of that will be coming through. If we get something really exciting, we may make some interim announcement, because if we get something extraordinary in the course of drilling, you can't be sure that that will remain secret. So it's better to come out and announce whatever you can. So we've got the drill programs proceeding on those two projects. Of course, we do have other projects.
That was going to be my question, is what's the roadmap looking like for summer? What else can investors expect?
We are moving ahead as quickly as we can now with the listing of our Australian gold assets in Victoria, where we have a joint venture with Paramount Resources. And that's an extremely good-looking portfolio. We've got a very strong team out in Australia. They're working well. We're getting good results. And of course, as we get nearer to the anticipated IPO and the TSX, we're going to be bound a little by legal advice because we can't put out information that hasn't been verified, and we can't take the TSX for granted. So within those constraints, we think we're going to have quite a reasonable amount of information coming out of Australia for summer, autumn. So those would be three things I'd focus on. That's not by any means all that's going on, but we're a small company and we have to have a bit of focus. And the focus, obviously, when you're drilling is making sure those drill programs are done excellently. I think we have a history of being good explorers, competent explorers, and we want to keep that.
Great. Well, hopefully you'll even get some time to watch the Euros, because it sounds like you're going to be very busy for the next few months.
Yeah, well, I hope so. It's better to be busy.
That's good. I'm sure your shareholders would rather you were. Andrew, thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and we look forward to your next update.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for listening. Remember to visit our website for more news and other podcasts at www.share-talk.com.